We have lots of callers. Hope you're ready. Next is John. John, how can we help you? Go ahead, and thank you for waiting.
Hi, my name is John. I'm calling from Scarborough.
Hi. Go ahead, John.
Hi. My question is that I own my house and I have no mortgage and nothing, no loan, and my girlfriend wants to move in. In the event our relationship does not work in the future, would she be entitled to my house or anything? Should I be worried about anything?
John,
she has no contribution to my house.
That's a great...
As long as mortgage or anything is concerned.
Great question, John. That's a great question. So go ahead, Andrew.
I would say yes, you should be worried. I will answer the question twofold. If she's living with you, she does not have a legal entitlement to possession. She does not have a legal entitlement to ownership. But as time goes on, she may be able to make a successful claim for a beneficial interest in the home through a joint family venture. If you get married is where your problem really happens. Because the Family Law Act says, when determining equalization of property, you take your net worth on date of separation and you subtract it by your net worth on date of marriage to see how much your net family property grew by. The problem is, if you owned a home on the date of marriage, and that home is still owned by you on the date of separation, and it's the matrimonial home, you don't get that credit for bringing the home into the marriage.
Okay.
So if your house, your equity is $500,000 and it was in cash, you'd get credit to subtract it by. But if it's the matrimonial home on the date of separation, you don't get credit. The best way for you to protect yourself is you need a cohabitation agreement that would clearly spell out that your home is protected, and if you get married, that agreement becomes a marriage contract.
All right, wonderful. John, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that absolutely answered my question. But the thing is, what else is she entitled to? Like, I'm saying, if there's any period of time, a year or 5 years or 10 years that she could claim, or there's no time limit. As soon as she moves in, she's entitled to everything.
Okay, go ahead.
If you do not have any children with her, during the relationship, she has up to 3 years. But there can be an argument as to when she moved in.
Up to 3 years until she has entitlement to,
yes.
to interest in the home. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so the first 3 years, you're fine. But I will tell you this, John. If you're in a relationship 3 years from now, and she's been living with you 3 years from now, and you produce a contract to her, it will be much harder than producing a contract to her and saying, I need a contract, than when she moves in. So be careful, because you might say to yourself, I have 3 years to wait, but you may find you won't ask for the contract in 3 years that you may ask for now.
So John, basically, and I find in law generally, get a contract in place that spells out your rights. And John, thank you so much for your call. We do have to go to the next person. We're getting a lot in here. We're helping a lot of people today. John, thank you again for the call. And of course, to our viewers at home, keep on calling. We're here to help you navigate the murky walls of family law. And we have Adam patiently waiting. Adam, go ahead.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Adam. Go ahead. How can we help you?
Actually, my question is a lot like John's.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Hi. My question is a lot like John's. Actually, it just leads me to the cohabitation agreement. I'm wondering, what's the minimum that has to go into a cohabitation agreement that would pass in court, spelling out what's mine and what belongs to my girlfriend in my example?
That's a great question.
Well, what passes in court is a very hard question to answer. To begin with, you need to have full, frank financial disclosure. What does that mean? It means you should have a sworn financial statement. It means you should be giving your last 3 income tax returns and notice of assessments to your spouse.
This is in a common law scenario?
Absolutely. You want to give full disclosure. If you own a business, I would say you want to value the business.
This is before they even move in together? Okay.
Because the easiest way to try and set aside an agreement is to say, I didn't know what I was contracting out of. Because let me put it to you this way, John. It's Adam, I mean. If you knew and you're getting together with someone that they make $5 million a year and you say, I don't want anything, you're contracting out of it. You're really contracting out of a lot of potential support, and you're contracting out of a significant potential growth in property. You have a right to know that before you contract out of it. So it's critical, if you're entering into the contract to protect your assets or protect your income stream, that you have full financial disclosure. And I would strongly suggest that anybody who plans on entering into a marriage contract or cohabitation agreement does hire a lawyer to do it. If you don't, it's going to be a recipe for disaster, because it'll be a lot easier to have it set aside. And you actually want your spouse hiring a good lawyer and not a real estate lawyer or someone who's going to charge them $200-300. Because I will tell you this, the first thing I do when someone walks into my office and they ask me that they want a contract to be set aside is I flip to the last page of the agreement where I see who provided the independent legal advice. Judges do the same thing. And they look at who the lawyers were that acted for each side. And if it's a lawyer that is a well-known family law lawyer acted for the other side, that will give more weight to the agreement.
But is there anything that Adam can do in order to, like a list of questions or information he can have ready to make it a less expensive adventure, or venture rather, when he goes to see a family lawyer?
He can have all of his financial information available, like I said, tax returns, notice of assessments. If you don't own any businesses, then you want to come in with your bank statements, your RSP statements, your investment statements if you have it, your credit card statements, your mortgage statements. You want to have everything put together in an organized brief to give your lawyer so they can give it to the other side. The other thing I would say, especially if it's a marriage contract that you're looking at, do not plan on doing it a month or two before marriage. This is something that should be discussed, I would say, to most people before you even pick a wedding date.
But what's the difference between a marriage contract? Well, for Adam's purposes, he's just looking for a cohab. What's the difference between the two for Adam if you guys do end up wanting to get married?
The concern I have when I say that is pressure. If, just picture, invitations have gone out, there is a wedding date, and somebody says 3 weeks before the wedding, sign this contract or I'm not going to marry you. That puts a lot of pressure on someone to sign the contract because they're worried about the embarrassment of not getting married and the ramifications of that. And that will be a way that the contract could be attacked. So if you're common law, you don't necessarily have that issue. But if you're thinking of getting married, deal with the contract before you pick your date, before the invitations go out, before the hall is booked. Because anything that can attack an agreement, you need to be nervous about because it may happen.
So, and Adam, does that answer your question? We do have some callers that I want to get into. So the takeaways, make sure both your girlfriend and you have legal advice. Make sure that you're able to, or you provide full disclosure. You don't want to hide anything on both sides. Get all of your papers in order before you go see your lawyer, and also think about what is it that you want to protect before you actually go see a lawyer to do this. But again, full disclosure and making sure that you really think about this through. Is critical, Adam. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Wonderful. Best of luck, Adam. And again, to our viewers at home, we do have some more callers coming in, and we invite you to call in, and we hope to help you today.